Okay, so for supplies, I'm using Etchr Perfect Sketchbook. This is like 6 by 8. There's some tutorials I've already done in here. This is a Patreon. This is from a workshop, actually. This is another tutorial we did. Another one. Another one. This, some personal stuff in here from Japan. And another one we did tutorial. And recently that one. And now I'm going to go and do another one. I want to start actually filling this whole book with just like some, everyone's always like, what do I do? What do I paint? Get a sketchbook and just pick a theme. And I just want to play with some simple landscape techniques. You don't need a trace or anything for this. You can just picture like where you would want a road or some trees. And I'm thinking I want a curved road. So I would start, I'm just taking a pencil here, and then maybe the road would kind of be like starting here and kind of coming down and going like this, coming out like that. Simple like that, right? Maybe I'll have a little bit shorter than this. I don't want it that long. So it could be kind of like coming from here, going down and out. There's the road. You can't kind of see it here. We got like some trees kind of happening here. And there's some land mass kind of happening here, right? Just like a little wiggle here. And then there's going to be some trees back here. And then we got the road here. It could kind of bend too. It can kind of like go up and down and bend. So it could go like down and up and bend a little bit. So here's like the drive, something like that. And maybe put some trees here. Now you can use the pencil, right? We can draw in some trees. So just taking a pencil, kind of putting in a tree trunk, just sketching in where you're going to put the tree trunk, and we'll paint that in a bit. And the tree trunk, so the trees kind of go up and over and down and bending and out and over and out. We can paint over this with the brush, but funky trees, put them in here and we'll paint them. Just helps guide you. Just put trees in there. And we've got some land happening here. Maybe a little bush can go in front of this. Because here's the road. It's kind of bended down, and we have a bush right here. It's kind of hiding the road over here. And the tree can go in front of it too. And then we can have some trees kind of like down in here on the road. Just like that. Here you can grasses, you can put a fence. You could put a fence kind of going here. And then maybe you see a smaller one going way down here. Again, as it gets bigger, as it's coming towards us, coming off the paper. A connecting wire. Like that. That's kind of how I'd start it. And so now that you've got the basics drawn out, right? We're going to play with, you can still just use the pencil for mapping out more stuff. You can use it for grasses, all that good stuff. But there's the basic shape of the tree. I'm going to play with that. So now we just want to paint the background. You can paint the sky. Very simple. We want simple. You can just wash in a little simple sky, nothing crazy. I mostly want to put greens in here, and so maybe I'll just keep the sky white for now and just put the greens in there. I'm going to grab my Princeton 12 Aqua Elite series brush. I'm going to mix up some greens. In the summertime, a lot of greens, so cadmium yellow deep. I use holbein paint, and this is lovely peacock blue that holbein creates. It's a unique color to holbein, so there's no equivalent. Sorry. Gonna grab some Prussian blue and some burnt umber and some yellow for a little deeper green. Gonna mix this together. We've got another medium type green, adding more yellow. See, we got a lot of greens happening here. So for the first wash, it's always like a light kind of bright wash, and I really just kind of want to go straight down really kind of quickly. Don't want to mess with it too much. Just a simple wash. right? Simple flat wash. Similar to here. Getting that green in. Kind of throwing it, not everywhere, but mostly here. Over that fence. Now we could start to add some, you don't have to fill it all in green, by the way. You can start to play with adding in some grasses and just putting a little speck of color here. Like this. Using the tip of my brush, just kind of wiggling back and forth. And leaving that white. So we're playing with texture and just not painting everything you have to paint every surface area. So the trees in the background can be kind of this muted green that's mixed all these kind of colors here. We have our tree, so that could be, we already have it painted in, right? I mean drawn in, sorry. We can just kind of paint in a wash of green. See, I'm just tapping in. I'm gonna grab a little bit more yellow again. And I'm just gonna tap in, kind of push on my side like this, my tree, right? Same thing with this one. And maybe the color will change a little bit. I'll add some ultramarine blue deep. So the green is a little bit different. Has a different hue to it. Get a little bit smaller as we go up top. Kind of more in a rounded shape. And a little bit down here. Leaving some of that white, by the way. This is a lot different color than this one. And then back here, we'll have a different color bush again. So I'll do like a bush, kind of like a green area. I'll add some more blue. And again, so the green is a little bit different. Go right over my tree trunk because I'm going to paint that brown really. Kind of fill this in. This background color. Just fill that area in. Gonna let some of this dry. It should be dry a little bit. Maybe change the color. I'm gonna add some burnt sienna. Mix in this green. Put that green kind of here. Or I can just have some more ultramarine, peacock blue and yellow. Get more of a Kelly type green here. And the little front bush kind of coming down. And there's the road. You want a different variety of greens, like I said. Just keep it simple. And then we've got the background, like, you know, like way in the distance. There'll be more muted, bluish greens. Could even be, I wouldn't use them yellow. So I'm gonna add some more ultramarine blue deep again. And just lightly put that color in. And wash this in. Should just be like a real nice light wash of this color. This muted version kind of this one. You could make it lighter if you want, like brighter. Add some yellow. This light green in here. I can tap in some of the color if you want to do that. Just want to keep it kind of muted, soft and lighter in this section. Go in here. Right? And we've got this flat kind of wash. It's kind of really too light. I want it a little bit brighter. So I'm going to go back over it. Get my cadmium yellow deep. A little bit thicker paint. A little bit more of the peacock blue. Just so muted. I want a really bright tone. Going back in here. Filling this in. Kind of dry brushing some of it. And then kind of putting that color down here. Same thing with this. It's so muted. It needs to be a little bit brighter. You can always go over it, you know, 1 or 2 times. Like so. A simple little road happening. Well, then I'm going to let those greens dry. I'm going to concentrate on the road and the trees. I feel like I want to put another tree kind of back here. I'm going to grab some more color here. Let's put some green, right, bright green back here. Behind this area. Maybe add a little bit darker green too. Kind of blend that. And add a couple little dots. Just a little bit darker there. So for the road, I'm just going to grab some burnt sienna and lighten it up. Maybe add a tad ultramarine blue deep. And we're just gonna go put this color in really kind of rough, quick, just like that. Just the first wash. We'll add some more various tones to it. That's just the first wash. And this we have to let dry too. We have to let it all dry now at this point. Okay, now that it's dry, I'm gonna go back and grab some more burnt sienna, maybe even burnt umber, a little bit more ultramarine blue deep, mix it in. And I want to dry brush, so I'm kind of tapping my my brush on a paper towel, just kind of going over the textured paper, right? You can even make more gray with these two by adding more blue. You get a little gray texture. I didn't want it that gray down the center. I'm going to just kind of lifting up a little bit. Getting a little more texture in here with the grays. Okay, and for the lovely little fence, you can use burnt umber or a mixture of burnt umber and like a black, either a neutral tint or Payne's gray or even a lunar black. And I'm mixing the lunar black with that. I'm just going to kind of go like this. Or I can make it even lighter with the burnt sienna. Or you can make it a gray. Kind of twisting, turning this little wonderful fence here. Get a little bit darker with my ultramarine blue deep. I'm going to mix in with this. Just taking the tip of my paintbrush, going down. Maybe have it darker on the bottom, and then we've got another little fence on the other side. Small, bigger. I'm gonna put some grasses in front of it too. And I'm gonna go down here a little bit, making this darker down here. Same color I had my brush. Adding a little bit more dark tone on that road. So now I'm going to start to play with some grasses and some trees. I'm going to use a liner brush. This is the number 4 liner brush from Princeton. It's the Umbria series. And grab some greens, a little bit darker than we have in that background here. So I've mixed up some of the darker green we had in with that bright green. We want some nice grasses going like this. And the wonderful liner brush is perfect for that. They could be tall, kind of sweeping over the fence kind of grasses. Little short ones here and there, here. If you want to add some flowers to the meadow, of course. Some tall ones here, up, going straight up. And then some going on to the left. Now they would be a lot smaller here. But of course they're grasses, darker color. Sweeping it to the left, to the left, to the left, or the right. And the little teeny ones on this side, because it's much further away. Get a little bit lighter. You can have a few tiny ones in the background. Just like that. A little bit darker than the green you have here. And even if some brown ones, so grab some brown color tones, sweep those a little bit, but just simple swoop. You don't have to do a million of them, just a few here and there. Okay, so then for the tree, I will use ultramarine blue deep and burnt sienna again, mix the two. And I'm going to use my liner brush. Get a nice deeper grayish brown. Going to mix those again. The consistency can be kind of like milk. And here we go. We're going to put this tree in here. You take your time with this. I kind of like do little jerking movements to make like little branches. Up and over. Right over that green that you painted earlier. And kind of up, over, and out. Kind of have the tree be a little bit wider here, coming down from the bottom, and kind of little teeny skinny branches off of that, going outward, up and over. Just like that. Boop. Little summer trees. And little skinny branches here. And we're going to put some more trees back here, like another little branch, like a big tree. And then we have another tree kind of way back here. Little branches coming up to the tippy top out this way. Here we'll have like little bushes, so you can kind of make the same bluish green but a little bit darker. Kind of going here with the lines. So these lines that kind of come in like this. Little V's and here. See, one swooping little lines like that. It could be like a pattern. It's not supposed to be super hyper realistic. You can have so much fun painting a pattern on there. Right, going back to the tree color. Gonna put more trees back in here. Just going outward off the branch. A little bit thicker. And he's coming outward like this. And then skinny, skinny, skinny up the top. Kind of branches coming down this way, that way. Folding over, outward, up and doodles. Really kind of skinny, skinny on the ends there. See that? And then we're going to put some trees down in here. Now we can put some like green color. So I might want to go back with my, now that it's dry, just take a little medium green color, whatever you've got, and kind of just put that where you think the tree would be. And maybe another tree here. It could be a little bit darker. Not too dark though. Or even a little bit light green. Kind of tapping these colors in here. And then we'll put some tree trunks and all that good stuff going to these trees. They're kind of like right here on the side of the road. Right? And I want to think a couple little, like almost like little bushes on here, but I'm going to grab some darker green again and maybe make a little bit bigger strokes here. There's some small skinny ones, but look a little bit wider, bigger ones too. Play with that a little bit. Again, you can put a little dark color on this side. Play with that, and you can do some shadows from these trees here. I'm going to put a little bit darker color back here. A little darker there. I did like the mound, but I'm playing around with it now. And a little bit deeper green. Kind of coming down off this little land area. Just changing it up a little bit. Now I'll go back to my liner brush once these guys dry and do some more tree branches. And I want to put another little wash of tone green down here. Again, changing it up a little bit from what we have. And this should be dry. You can put, again, those two colors make great grays, ultramarine blue deep and burnt sienna, and almost black. And he would use this liner brush to connect my fence. Going down, whoop-a-doo, connect each little kind of picket part of it. And same thing on this side. You don't want it too dark though. You don't want it super black. It should be a little bit light gray going down into that area. And once this is dry, we can go down here and add our trees. It's a little bit wet still. I don't want that super dark because it's way down here. And I'm putting little branches swooping up to a tree right here. Little skinny ones kind of peeking off underneath and out on top of this tree. Just take your time and do little skinny wiggly branches. So you're just kind of taking it and going up like that. Do little teeny branches. If it helps to draw it, do that first. Now they kind of all look like lollipop trees. I've got to make them look a little bit different. Gonna have this one kind of out. This one's gonna have a branch this way. Maybe the trunk has got a double trunk. And same thing with this guy. It's got like another one kind of humming here. So it doesn't look like a lollipop type tree. And then put some other little skinny little trees here. And then way off in the distance, we can add some trees too, even in a little green area. So just kind of like little lines going up here, out. Our trees way in the back. Way off in the distance. And here I'm going to add just a few more fun little branches. And you have this really simple landscape, just doing greens and trees and just playing with this kind of thing. And I think I like the technique of adding the pattern. So now that this is dry, I would go back in and add some color that's a little bit deeper than the green we have again with this one, and go and add some grasses. Just layering more color upon color. Go a little pattern. Feel free to use some pencils. I like the little crosshatchy. Right, a little sweet road. We could add some white watercolor for some little meadow flowers. They look really kind of pretty. Just grab some white watercolor and you can just tap a little bit of white meadow flowers around the fence. A little sweet down here. In front. Aren't they cute? Little flowers. And the last thing I would do is just maybe add a little bit more depth with some grasses on that side. So pick up some deeper greens right under the white, because it's just going to enhance it. Perfectly up to you if you don't want to do this. Under the white. The white might have dissipated, so maybe you're better off using some gouache. And I'm going to have some grasses kind of coming off on the road too. It is a dirt road after all. Simple little landscape. Sweet, right? You could add a sky or not. If you want to add a sky color, you can do it at the end or not. If I did afterwards instead of the beginning, because I was kind of planning out where I was going to put my wonderful trees, I'm just going to grab some cobalt and I'll just wash in a little sky. Simple little blue sky. Peek in between my little tree here. Maybe get a little bit darker on the color. Have it kind of bleed a little bit. And that's it. I'll leave the little white for some clouds. Then we have a sweet little landscape, right? If you want a little bit more darker depth on the road, get a little bit deeper, like something has been driving on that road. I would add a little bit of wash of color. Not too much though. That's that. And then last but not least, if I want to have some shadows, ultramarine blue deep and burnt sienna, mix the two together. Maybe I have a little shadow from the tree kind of coming down on the land, and something over here is giving it a shadow, and these little fences. You see that? Kind of going across the road a little bit, and then these guys go out this way. Some little shadows. Kind of sweet. Maybe a little shadow down here. It has to dry, but that would be the shadow. So I wanted to put the shadow in here. I just feel like this is a little too dark. I'm just going to lift this by taking a damp brush, lifting up the paint, tapping it back on a paper towel. I'll let that dry a bit, and then I'll go in and add my wonderful shadows with the blue and burnt sienna color. So I lifted it up, let it dry, and I'm going to go in and take this and put in some shadows. On the road. Just a few here and there. Can have the trees kind of get a shadow going out this way. Gives it a little bit more three-dimensionality, a little bit more life. And I'm going to just add a little bit of this gray in here under the tree. And that's that. Or even just have some of the browns kind of going in here, like the dirt, just like a rough dry brush. Burnt sienna. Dry brush in here. And then add the shadows too. Super fun. Have some fun. You can even just dip some bright yellow for some flowers. So there's a bunch of wildflowers kind of on the road, the white and the yellow. All right, guys. Now, if you're, like I said, if you're a Patreon member, you get the trace. If you want to be a Patreon member, click the link below in the description box to know how to join my Patreon. Lots of extra stuff on Patreon that are not on YouTube. Real extensive tutorials, much longer, more in depth, and a lot of fun over there. You get first dibs on watercolor workshops and retreats, which is really a great perk, especially since I'll be announcing a new a new workshop in Quebec in December, and I know it's going to sell out in Patreon real quick. So that's a good perk for it. So take care, and happy painting.